if you haven't worked out already, this track kind of mucks up my fuel calculation thing.
Yeah, only for the first one though.
Well, it's because it's an average though. It uses the litre a lap one, which slowly, if you do enough laps, it'll sort itself out. But
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bas Bauma, and I will be broadcasting tonight and commentating in this race. As we just see Sarayan going off after he set a really nice lap time of 2:21.932. With 2 purple sectors, that means he's the fastest from everyone in those sectors. So tonight's little race from ACRL on the 1966 Monza circuit in the Lotus Type 49. And well, this car is quite a handful, isn't it? So we'll see some interesting action in those cars. And car in front of Sarayan going off, it sounds like. That is the car of Team ASD, having difficulty keeping this car under control. Sarayan so far seems to be the fastest on this track, and with just over 2/10 from him is Temk, number 2, sideways there. The British green, I suppose, Lotus. And ACRL is on maybe a personal best lap. Hold on. And Temke then did a purple sector in sector 2, but then aborted his lap. Sarayan still on number 1, of course, but he cannot improve on his time yet. And we do see Temke, sorry, of course not, Thomas there improving. As we watch on board with Thomas, who did a personal best first sector and is just above Sarayan's time in the first sector. Takes it very easy into Parabolica. And look at the oversteer on the exit. He cannot put the power down onto the straight. Of course, that is quite a special track, which has 2 straights. One half of the straight goes into this banked section of the circuit, and the other half basically goes to what is the modern track, more or less. Tom is with a personal best second sector as well, and can he improve maybe on the time of Serain? Can he drive a first position here? This car is incredibly quick through this banked section. Has a little oversteer there from the bumps. Can he improve? As he crosses the line to 21.6. That is 3 tenths faster from Serain. And we see some personal bests here and there. From Team ASD, that's not true, from Xedos in his first sector, although he is about almost 2 seconds from the first sector of, well, Tommy's it is now. Meanwhile, I'm making some notes, because this is a sort of test broadcast, of course. For when it really matters. And Serain is about to start his hot lap. Maybe he can improve. In this beautiful yellow car. And we see another yellow car going off there, which is Adder. Oh dear. Serain then. To watch with Temke. We did a session best purple sector in the second split. And crosses the line. Starting his hot lap. Let's watch on board with him. Correcting the car all the way through Grande Curva. Touches the grass even. Of course now here's a chicane, but through the first Lesmo. And there seems to be an incident right in front of him, and can he avoid it? No, he cannot. Cannot avoid it, in fact. And well, the two cars there of Serain and Petrol are stuck, it seems. And they're trying to get out, and eventually Petrol, I think, manages to get out there. Serain's still on track, so... Temke then, not improving on his time so far. In fact, is quite slow, of course, since he got into that tangle there, got into the little crash. Well, we have on track. We have Aika in the pits. Adder there on track. So far, place 5 with a 22.9. We do see another purple sector there from Oscar Pink, who is on a nice lap, 2/10 below Thomas. Very nice indeed. And Oscar there drives a personal best second sector and then is half a second below Thomas' time. What can he do with just one more corner to go? There are the two cars. The nice Lotus colors for Oscar. Oscar did a 22.6, did he? 21.0. Wow, that is a really nice time there from Oscar. Fastest in the first and last sector, of course, and the personal best sector in sector 2. Really nice driving there from Oscar. And Edda seems to be on a personal best sector in the first sector and is just about 2/10 up. I never know if it's up or down. Like, well, he's 2/10 up. Does that mean it's slower or faster? That always confuses me. Anyway, meanwhile, let's maybe listen in on some of the conversations going on there in the from the races in the chat. And there passes a car. I don't quite know who it is, although I can have quite a quick look, which is Aika. And can he improve on Oscar's time? No, he cannot. Second place for Adder.
Nice.
Just about 1/10 off. But that is very close for the two drivers. Can anyone do something about it? Michael there in the other car. They seem to be fighting for position there. But no, it is Edda who is in fact a bit quicker. Personal best first sector for Adder, 49.5. Nice, I think V8 engine, looking at it. Bit of a slow exit maybe there out of the corner, and indeed does not improve on his second sector. Just 2/10 slower though.
The max limiter is so much quicker, but I don't trust myself to not fuck up over 45 minutes.
That was Ada speaking there.
Yeah, it's in pickup mode, so just join.
We can turn up the volume a little bit. Because these are noisy cars. All the bumps here through the bank section. We can see the skid marks of some car that went off. And meanwhile, Oscar is also... looks like he's heading out of the pits. What can Ada do?
So many tire marks on
21.3.
that first oval.
So we'll have a look with Oscar. About to start his hot lap.
A better turnout than I feared.
Well, I certainly agree with
I
that.
think we should move to Discord for our voice. This seems better than TeamSpeak in terms of clarity.
You can change the thing on
And Oscar there, going wide.
the codec, but I think that's part of
Missed his
the
braking there.
server manager more than us.
Yeah, we don't have full rights to that one.
One option I noticed, which was nice, is that you can enforce push to talk.
Yeah.
And well, I certainly agree with the turn-up. There's 14 cars on track right now. So that's not too bad.
Panel sitting.
Yeah, but I think it's dependent on the admin of the server, isn't it, as to what codecs are available?
I've never seen it restricted. But I wasn't in the TeamSpeak long enough to know which options were and weren't available. I popped into the GT3 race and then left right after the race was over.
Alright.
I just want to grow one clean lap before qualification. Only one, that's what I'm asking for.
I think it took me 30 laps on the pre-Q7 before I got one clean lap in, before I finally learned how to drive the car.
As you can see, all on vintage tires. Of course, what you expect with old cars like this. So far, no improvements anymore. A 49 first sector and second sector 33.4. Although he's not improving, it's not far off from his previous time. Just still the pole lap, of course. Or not pole, I should say. It's a practice session after all. We don't see many people improving, which is of course something, well, it's not easy with this car. And I would quickly like to rejoin the session there. Meanwhile, Oscar is on a fastest lap, but I would like to work a bit on getting my FPS a little bit better. So maybe that's something I can work on. It all looks very nice, of course, but you would also like to see it smoothly. As we're waiting to rejoin the session. Meanwhile, Oscar Pink with a first sector of 49.1. And, well, when we rejoin, will he have improved on his second sector and maybe even third sector as well? And I'm afraid that we've lost the information. But we have a fastest lap by Aika. No, we don't. That's just what we're seeing. Since we joined this session a bit late. The real times, well, we cannot see either. But we can use this for now. With Oscar Pink still in first with a 21.006. And Petrol there, going quickly. And I think it's Dr. Boo, in first place on my screen, although of course we know that Oscar was a bit faster, but we'll have to wait for the next session to have proper results. Oversteer there, hits the wall. They are pushing like crazy, which is always nice to see. And Petrol a bit slower, about a second off from Dr. Boop there. Dr. Boop with the fastest first sector. Fastest second sector. As well. Is that correct? I'm not sure. Not sure it is. But let's see what happens when he crosses the line. And there we go, crossing the line to 21.753. Which might not be the fastest time, but it is pretty good. Feel a bit of a moment there, but does not improve on his first sector, or only just by 300ths of a second. And we see some improvement there by Petrol, I think, who has stopped. We go back to Dr. Boop. Edda there was just in front of him, but actually goes into the pits. And so far Dr. Boop improving on his middle sector. Through the bank section of this Monza circuit. Meanwhile, let's have a listen.
Does the game not allow you to look properly over your shoulder?
Yeah, it does. I just, it's turning around that much.
And of course the mods are complaining, as they always are.
I
Just
can
kidding,
just
of course.
about see the rear tyre if I look round enough.
About to say, surely in this guy you could actually look behind you.
But it's doing that while not crashing. Yeah, I can do that. Not in corners, obviously. That would be stupid.
And there goes Dr. Boop. Improving by 0.3 of a second on his previous fastest lap.
But yeah, there's a huge area where you just can't see where they are at all. You have to rely on Helicorsa.
Helicorsa, of course, being the app where you can sort of see a top-down view of your car and the cars around you, which massively helps, I must say, for a bit of awareness. Who else then on track? Well, we have the Broove, did the first sector, but then went into the pit lane. And Edda there, also in the pit lane. Well, who isn't? Well, Petrol is on track. Petrol is on an
What
outlap.
throws me off in this car is the steering wheel is off to the side. It's not centered.
I never noticed.
I keep thinking the center point on my headset is wrong, but no, it's not. It's just the wheels lopsided.
And petrol there goes wide
Cockpit's lopsided.
in the Parabolica. And it goes back into the
No, I
pits.
can't drive with the virtual wheel on at all.
I keep it on because there's a lot of cars where
Kovacs.
there's information on the wheel, which is useful.
Well, I keep the wheel
Improving.
on, but just to have everything locked so the driver's arms are off and the wheel is locked in position.
Ah, right. Yeah, I turn the driver's arms off because those get in the way.
Although I did have them on accidentally earlier when I was testing this car, and it kind of looks quite legit. Gives you a
And
nice feeling
Kovacs
like you're sat further in the cockpit or something.
drives a 23.4, which is not too bad.
Yeah, I don't really need that to be honest.
And the
I also
session
didn't
here
like that they
finishes.
start pulling for the gear shift, like before you've shifted.
Yeah, that's
I don't know who that is, but
Oh, I
someone
can't
is
see that 'cause I'm
lagging,
on
and I
the
think it's
cockpit. I
Oscar.
imagine as I'm in the rev line and my shift lights are flashing on my wheel that he spends half his time in his hand on the shift.
Yep, pretty much. The shifter flicks forwards when it wants you to, when the game thinks the car wants to shift. You know, when you're hitting the shift point, the shifter just moves forward, which is weird because it's not a sequential box.
Well, T-Speed
As
seems to
both
be dead.
drivers have finished. Hello guys, here's a little message from the commentator to today. Good luck all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks. And it seems like some of us have quite different consumption rates.
It's because we keep crashing.
I make about 83 liters to finish, so though I add a little bit on top.
Yeah.
Whereas I think his Oscar reckoned about 90, and added just went
Whoa,
for
whoa,
100,
whoa.
whatever.
I know nothing. Don't
I
want to get
think
blamed
you
for
actually
anything.
said 19, not 90.
90, 90.
Yeah.
No, 19. Definitely.
You've
Yeah,
just got
you-
a
you
fuel
could-
savers optimal.
Yeah, good luck, everyone.
As they're all off. So let's mute the drivers. As we see 5 cars going out there. The orange one of Aika in front. With behind him. Out goes Thomas, Xetos, Sarayan. And right behind him, of course, the Broof. Let's follow Aiko, as he is the first driver to be starting his fastest lap. They are very close together, I must say. Slipstreaming there. And we have a crash there from the yellow car behind. And the other car, I'm not sure, I think the yellow car was Sarayan. He had a yellow car, and indeed it is. And in front of him is the Broof. Aika then second, in front of him Thomas. Thomas so far the fastest, still on his outlap. We seem to have a little bug here where some of the drivers seem to have finished, which I don't think is the case. since of course the session has not just begun. So that is something to be fixed, something to be noted down. And what I'm seeing there is a purple first sector from Thomas, but this of course still being an outlap. It's a bit weird how this track is laid out, because in half a lap I think he will be starting his fast lap, and this is still technically his outlap, although it is the quickest lap, so well, it will count if no one manages to set another lap after him. And Tim K driving a fastest second sector there. And this green Lotus. And Thomas goes over the line to start his proper fastest lap. Let's head on board with him. Touches the grass, goes wide there. Can he keep it on track? Oversteer, oversteer, even more oversteer. There's no end to this oversteer. Has a very hard time of keeping this car on track, and of course he's not the only one, since it is such a hard car to drive, and with these old tires. But he does drive a very fast first sector, although Aika is slightly quicker there, by just 0.03 of a second in the first sector. As Thomas goes off, and he has a moment of oversteer there. Cannot really see what happened, the camera is in the way, and I think it is Aika there going in front then. So there's a 123.3. Is that correct? That is his second sector. And we see purple sectors there from Petrol as well. So we have out in front Aika, then behind him I think it's still Thomas, and a bit further on we have well, the other drivers, but among them is Petrol with the fastest time so far. But at the moment Aika crossing the line on the main straight with a 2:22.8. And Thomas at a 27. Petrol then. Petrol on the back straight. So far, over half a second below Aika he is. And that is looking good for Petrol so far, the Brit. Struggling with the bumps on the bank section. And does a 2:21.1. That is a very good time, though we have seen a bit quicker in the practice session of 21.0. But that is very good. And Sarayan then with a fastest first sector, a little less than 1/10 below Petrol there in his first sector. Can he do anything? Brakes and moves towards the middle of the track. very careful there on the exit of the Parabolica. As we see the drivers coming out of the bank section and goes wide, in fact, goes wide and crashes. Does he? Does he hit the barrier? He does. That is some damage, I imagine, there for Sarayan. But can he continue on his way? So far it looks like it. He gets passed by a driver. And then it is Kovacs there, who is now quicker in the first sector. Can he improve? Well, so far he is quite able to do so in the second sector. As we see white sectors, that means no improvement on petrol. And for the first sector regarding Aika. And though we do see some improvement there in the second sector from Aika, I don't think he'll put down the best lap so far. So we'll just stick with Kovacs for now in his yellow number 17. Through the bank section. As fast as he can. All of this flat out. Can he get a little bit of slipstream there from the driver in front in the orange Lotus? And he does go quickest. 2:20.5. I have not seen a fast lap like this. That is a very nice lap there. Meanwhile, Petrol is a couple of seconds slower, and we see Dr. Boob, I think, improving on his own lap. Still, though, a little slower than Kovacs. Beautiful red car, and well, also his sectors are personal best, but of course that only goes for this session. So what will he be able to do in this middle sector? He drove a 1:23.1. What time can he do on this Monza 1966? And it's a 22.9, 21.9, sorry. Which is quite a bit slower, and we see that Adder is in second place now with a 20.963, so that is not too bad. There from Adder. We missed that lap, but and we have Aika improving on his first sector, but then being very slow in the second sector. Can anyone improve? So far, we don't see any improvements. Dr. Boob now with a 21.9, of course. Goes fastest in the first sector. So that's an improvement. That is very nice. Goes very much on the grass with half of his car. Tries to keep it on the road there, coming out of what is now the Ascari chicane. Moving towards the other side of the track. Turns in, tries to slow it down, has a bit of understeer and then a bit of oversteer. Quite a handful this car is, and even when he's shifting, you can see him struggling to keep his car on the road onto next to the pit lane. As he heads into the bank section. Still is a bit quicker than the pole position time there, about 1/10, but does not improve on his second sector. We see him go through the bank section. Of course, this section is still... he crashes into the wall. He does crash into the wall, got stuck with his wheel there and avoids the other driver, luckily. That was a bit of bad luck there, and what will he do? I'm not sure if there is a rule saying you have to finish the session if you go to the pits, so that is something to keep in mind. And meanwhile we see Aika with a improvement on his first sector, avoiding the other car right behind him, which is the car of Larry Ferguson. They're focusing, struggling to keep this car on track, as is everyone, of course. Very slow into Parabolica, having oversteer, and more oversteer, and more oversteer. You can see small corrections there. He seems to have quite a bit of control there over the car. So he comes out of the Parabolica turn, and we see the two drivers next to each other, which is quite an amazing sight, I must say, into the bank section. And is a bit slower in the second sector, with another car stood still there, which is the car of the Broof, and we have lost him there, and he's back. Now, can he do anything in the last sector? Of course, the whole last sector is full throttle, so it is quite hard to improve by a large margin there. Then we see Kovac doing a second sector, which is a best time of the session, but is still on his outlap, so we'll follow him in a minute when he starts his flying lap. What can Aika do? The Finnish driver in the nice orange car, 1.5 seconds slower, does lose a bit of time. He seems to have a bit of a hang for the first sector there, but then kind of goes a bit down for Aika, that is. And should watch with Kovacs. Kovacs starting his flying lap. Let's head on board with him. Braking a bit for the Parabolica turn. Goes in a bit wide. It's a bit of understeer. Stays in the middle of the road there. It's of course very hard to keep these cars under control, as I've mentioned a few times before. And you see him take a wide line there into that the left kink. Slows it down on the inside, hug the curb, go out. Bit of oversteer there. Into the second Lasmo, bit of understeer, has to wait to get the car on the throttle, and then of course when you do, there is a bit of oversteer, so that is always quite difficult as he heads under the bridge that goes below the bank section into what is now the Ascari chicane, hits the grass, has a massive amount of understeer and goes off, hits the barrier, hits another barrier and goes round. That is quite a big hit there. Of course, he wanted to improve after he did not drive a best first sector there. And we see Laszlo Gal with a very good first sector, and then does not improve on his second sector, but still only about half a tenth away from the pole position time. So can he do anything? And I welcome you, viewer. Hello to you. We have one viewer. Onto the back straight with Laszlo. One more corner to go. Through the bank section. Look, the suspension working. Watch it work. Through the bank section. As we head out of the corner onto the main straight. What can he do? Can he improve on his time? It's too close to call with this these times. And no, he cannot improve, but he does improve on his own time, but not on the pole lap. So that is about 4/10 of the pole position time there from Kovacs. Still there with a 20.5. So far we have 3 drivers into the 220s. And most of them seem to be around the 21 and 22 lap times. Now I am a bit surprised that we don't see Sarayan going a little bit quicker there, as he was very quick in the practice session. And I think the same goes for Oscar Pink. Thomas then? A little bit slower there than the pole position, but what can he do? 21.7. That is for him the 7th time, which is not too bad, as he does improve. And Dr. Boob Also a little bit slower, but he did improve on his first sector, which is quite an important sector, as in you can make up a lot of time there. And well, these cars are reaching speeds of over 300 kilometers an hour, which is quite amazing, considering it has no wings and it practically flies. .21.3 for Dr. Boop in 5th place. Improves on his time. And you can see that the times are getting close together, with the exception of a few guys behind. Though it seems, I think Cortex has just joined us. Not sure, but he was on his outlap and is now on his way to, well, try to set a lap. And we have a fastest lap there from, wow, that is nice. No purple sectors, but combining some very good sectors there, and it's 2/10 faster there, below Kovacs, or faster than Kovacs, with a 20.39. Very nice lap indeed. And do I see Oscar Pink improving? Yes, he is. With a best first sector, no improvement on the second, but still below the pole lap. Now, if he can have a good last sector, he can, or could, take pole position here with just 1 minute left on the clock. You see two drivers there next to each other coming out of the bank in the background, but we'll stay with Oscar for now, as he has one more corner to go until he reaches the start-finish line in his Lotus colored Lotus. And Laszlo doing 49.0 in the first sector. A little bit slower than Oscar, but what can Oscar do? Does not take pole position by 0.03 of a second, although it is very close. That is very close indeed. And so far I don't think Laszlo is improving on his time, but he still is very close, I must say. And seems to be very consistent as well. Some cars slowing down. Of course, this is their last try now the race is finished. Or the qualifying session, I must say. And we see another purple sector there, which is a very quick first sector for Oscar Pink. But right now, Laszlo, what can he do? Can he improve on his time? 20.5. He cannot improve on his time, but we watch Oscar, who is half a second, that is half a second there below the pole time. Oscar right now is in second place with a 20.4, but can he do anything? Only the bank section to go. And the second sector also quicker. Both purple sectors. Now this section only full throttle. Surely he cannot lose 0.6 of a second here in the last sector. Can he take pole position there? Halfway through the bank section. I think Oscar is trying to take everything out of this qualifying session. And it looks like he does, because that looked quite neat. As far as I could tell anyway. And is still indeed 0.6 of a second below with a 2.19. The only one to head into the 2.19s there. 19.8. Well done there by Oscar Pink. That's a very nice lap. Meanwhile, Petrol drove a best second sector, but well, that is of no use when you are doing your outlap. So all drivers have finished except for Thomas, who is also on an outlap, it seems. So we can conclude, I think, that Oscar Pink is indeed the pole man. Let's listen with the channel, of course, after this session is finished. And well, as you can see, still on vintage tires, as they all are. There's only one set of tires available, or one kind of tire, I should say. I must say that was quite good to watch, especially since I have some information here regarding the session times. The things that I see are the best times, the laps they've done. There was a gap, an interval, last lap, and all the sector times. So, well, in a minute we'll start the race.
Don't know what limiter to pick.
And perhaps I can show you quickly the schedule we have.
Just finished watching the Formula One, so I had no practice.
Don't speak about it. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, that's fine.
Was it worth it?
I started talking about the Formula One.
Yes.
If we don't want any spoilers, I might just mute it. Of course, you never know. So we're not here to watch the Formula One, but we are here to watch a race. So these are the drivers in first place. Well, perhaps I can have a little look at them being positioned there. It's quite unique and old school. In first place, of course, is Oscar Pink. In second place, Laszlo Gal. Third place, Eder. Fourth place is Petrol. Temke in fifth place, Dr. Boob behind him, and Thomas in seventh place. Aika, who seemed to be very promising, as well, I must say, disappointed me a little bit, in 8th place. Team ASD in 9th place, Ray in there in 10th place. I also thought he might have been able to do a little better. De Broeve in 11th place, Cortex, who came in a little late, in 12th place. Xitos in 13th, and Larry Ferguson 14th place, and Victorious in 15th place, and Kovacs in, well, 16th place. I don't know why that has happened. Maybe that is a little bit of an error in my program, but of course we can have a little scroll through them. Well, it does seem that way, so not sure what's going on there. Maybe I missed something.
I see. The two on the front have got the actual Lotus skin. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So, according to the standings here, Kovacs was in third place, and everyone below him seems to have moved. And, well, we can see that is not accurate. He is, in fact, in third place. So, somehow, it's not finding the right time. The race is 45 minutes, so we'll start in just over 2.5 minutes with the race.
We are standing so close that the qualifier was almost not necessary.
Some of these rows have 3 people on them. Can't say I've ever seen that start configuration before. I can't read the fucking countdown timer because the sun's in your face.
It's on 2 minutes.
This is no pit stop. The tires will work, right?
Yeah.
Unless you want to stop.
I mean, if you want to stop, that's fine by me.
Yeah.
I like these grass boxes separating the lanes, which are like concrete.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's a bit weird.
Those horses have been on a strong diet. That's all.
When you see it, your shit bricks. So where's Twister?
Probably
1 minute
in
left.
France.
Okay.
Desperately trying to escape.
Well, it's France, you can't blame him.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, good luck all.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah, we are gonna need it. Lots of it.
How many do you reckon are going to wipe out on the start?
5.
That's a third.
Got some pole position this is.
I know.
Whatever.
So let's then start the race. About 15 seconds. As they fire their engines, all lights out, and away to go. And it's really hard to tell actually who is in front and who isn't, except that I think it is the yellow car of... Oh, there's a crash, and that's quite a heavy crash. Half the field there is involved in it. And, well, Kovacs goes out in front in the yellow car. And, well, all the cars seem to have gotten away. So we have in front Kovacs. Then on the grass there went Thomas. So Temke could overtake him. And then, oh, they both go into the wall. Now this is quite something. And can the driver behind, that was the Groove, actually. Could he make use of it? And they touch. And the Groove goes off and spins. Well, this is quite messy there, isn't it? Of course, we all know these cars are hard to drive, but, well, keep each other alive, guys. Then out in front, Kovacs with over a second. And behind him is Laszlo Gal. The drivers in front seem to have found a bit of a gap there. We see some fighting here going on. Perhaps the orange car of Thomas there, right behind Sarayan. Sarayan, who had a very good start, I must say. Now into 4th place. And another one with a good start is Larry Ferguson. And he crashes. Another crash there. They keep on crashing there into exit of Parabolica. And we have a very close battle here between Petrol and Thomas. Petrol on the inside, on the bank section. As of now, in front of Thomas, but can Thomas maybe get a slipstream and come back at him? Who knows? Into the bank section they go, side by side. Thomas down below. Thomas is a bit slower, and Petrol seems to have the speed there on Thomas. Onto the main straight they head. And it's the fastest lap by Kovacs. And I'm really sorry, guys, because I totally got lost there into the spectator or in the commentator's role, and I totally forgot about my own car. Sorry about that. As we have Thomas right behind Saray now. And goes off. As in front of him we have Serene and Petrol fighting for 5th place. 4th place, in fact. And it's Petrol that goes wide. Petrol, is he quicker in the straight? Can he get a bit of a draft from Sarayan? Right behind him too is Oscar Pink. Petrol on the inside, brakes very late into Parabolica, and we have the yellow car of Sarayan trying to cut around him on the inside. Does not seem to have the speed. Side by side they go. Half the lap done, other half still to go. Through the bank section. They seem to be neck and neck. So there is very, very little between them. And so far Petrol in front, Sarayan behind him, but behind them is Oscar Pink. Can Oscar do something? As side by side they go, Sarayan and Petrol. Sarayan on the inside is indeed faster. But then it is Oscar who also takes a bit of a draft. All this bumpy section, can he go on the inside there of Sarayan? So far he can. And well, just for the hell of it, why not take Petrol as well? That would be quite interesting, wouldn't it? And 2nd place Sarayan goes a bit wide. On the outside there, Petrol in the red car. It's the brake for the first Lesmo corner. Petrol goes wide, and Sarayan takes the inside. Another inside corner for Sarayan for the 2nd Lesmo, and they both have a little bit of oversteer, fighting the car there out of the corner, out of the 2nd Lesmo, under the bridge. And again they are side by side. It never seems to stop. Petrol now in front. Sarayan right behind him. Very careful into... Oh! Was that Sarayan? That was Sarayan. What happened there? He went off. He went totally wide. And although he's still in 5th place, that was a bit of a shame for him, of course. Other cars fighting are Dr. Boob and Aika. But behind them, of course, Ada in the yellow car. Not much between the drivers here, but can Dr. Boo come any closer to Aika? Well, he seems to have a very good run on him into the last corner. On the inside he goes. The outside lane seems to be a little bit quicker, if you look at it like this. And Aika overtakes him again. So Aika now in front of him. Oscar Pink then with the fastest lap. Can he be a threat to the drivers in front? He is still about 2 seconds behind Temke. Kovac still in front. Leads by 2.5 seconds in the yellow Lotus. Then Laszlo Gal in 3rd place. Corrects his oversteer, seems to have good control of the car there. Temke, a little bit wide. And right behind him Oscar Pink. Oscar Pink, who has lost about places since the start, but is now trying to make his way back. And the two drivers of Dr. Boob and Aika still fighting for 8th place. Making use of all of the track. And we hear another driver going off. This driver is Petrol. And again he goes wide there out of Parabolica. Can he keep control of the car? He just about can. And we have two cars side by side here of Dr. Boop and Aika. Right behind Petrol. And between them is still Team ASD, who is now also right behind Petrol. Once again they go into the bank section. For 6th place there. Team takes the lead from... takes the position from Petrol on the inside. There go the two drivers. And we have Dr. Boop and Aika next to side by side again. Coming out of the bank section. Can Dr. Boop get a bit more speed? It looks like he can for the main straight there. And we have 10k right behind Oscar Pink now. Now, something has happened with Oscar Pink that I didn't really notice, but what can he do? As Oscar seemed to have quite a good pace there, but obviously must have gone wide somewhere. As we have Petrol here with Team ASD. Goes wide, onto the grass, locks his tires. There's no car right behind him, so lucky escape there, but of course he cannot fight for that position right now. And 10k still right behind Oscar there. On the back straight. Carefully through the Parabolica. Has lost a bit of time here, is now about a second behind, and Petrol understeers through the Parabolica a little bit, and as soon as you get on the throttle you get this oversteer, but he's very careful to do so. And in doing so cannot get any closer to Team ASD. Then Thomas behind Adder, half a second between them. Can Thomas make a move? Can he improve? Or is Adder just getting back? Because both drivers have lost quite some places. Thomas takes a bit of a wider line through the bank section. And again, in front of them, Dr. Boop and Aika very close together. Within a second from each other. Of course, this moment in time, the F1 cars did not have DRS or anything silly like that. I don't think you need that without any wings. Field is spreading out a little bit as the driver sent into a pace. About 15 minutes we're on the way. And well, we are on lap 5. By the end of this we'll be at lap 6 or 7. So, well, I don't know how much fuel these drivers have, but for now I'm estimating about well, maybe 18 laps or so, maybe 19, who knows? It's hard to say just yet. As we watch Aika having a lot more speed there from Petrol. I don't know if anything happened to Petrol, but going on the inside is Aika overtaking from Petrol. Petrol spins. Well, that was just outside the screen, but then someone else goes wide. And that is Adder, in fact. Adder, who was under pressure by Thomas, who's now in front. And well, the two drivers lost out big time there. And we have Xitos trying to get the place from Adder. In a slipstream on the inside. Into the banked section. The red Lotus. And what we saw in the previous times is that the outside driver seems to have the speed here. Speed advantage through the corner. Which is of course something that you want on the straights. But into the slipstream goes Xitos. Again on the inside, and again we'll see that Adder comes out the quicker car. In fact, he has overtaken him, but he hits the wall. Now that way you're not going to overtake him, and in fact, well, something must have happened there, because he went off again. Does not look very good for him. And we have another spin there from Team ASD. Well, maybe these cars are a little much to handle. Now he's in a bit of a pickle there, because he wants to get back on track, but well, another driver goes off. I think that was Adder, in fact. Yes, it is. So, well, these drivers are all struggling, though Kovacs has got it under control so far. Threads carefully through the Parabolica. Behind him, on about 3 seconds, is Laszlo Gal. Oscar Pink behind him, 4 seconds. Temke behind them. And Sarayan with quite a gap between him and Dr. Boop, who is now under pressure from Aika. These two just keep fighting, and well, it's quite interesting to see as Dr. Boop has the better exit out of the Parabolica. Doesn't look like Aika can get into his slipstream anytime soon, though he does try to follow it. Let's see what line they take through the banked section there. It's Dr. Boop who prefers the higher line. And in fact, if we look at the delta time, we see that Dr. Boop is slightly driving away from him, from Aika, that is. And we have the Brew within almost a second from Thomas. Like about 2 seconds slower on his previous lap, but still is gaining now, or was gaining for a moment at least, on Dr. Boop. And Oscar Pink so far with the fastest lap of the race with a 20.6, but not far behind him in terms of fastest lap is Kovacs. Kovacs still out in front by about 3 seconds. And we have Temke and Sarayan being close together there, and Temke is in fact closing in on Sarayan quite quickly. onto the back straight. Turns in, understeer, oversteer, and a bit more oversteer, and a bit more oversteer. As he struggles to get on the power, Sarayan does a little bit of a better job there. We have Laszlo doing a very good second sector time, so don't count him out either. The at least 3 drivers out in front seem to have the things under control, while everyone behind them is so far quite well struggling with this car to even keep it on the road. And again, Temke closing in on Sarayan just a fraction of a second. Takes the wider line through the bank section. Braking for the, well, the Grande Curva, or how you pronounce it in Italian, I'm not sure. Struggles to keep the car under control. As, well, every corner I'm guessing you're basically praying to be on time on the brakes and not to be too hard on the throttle, because, well, there you go. One little error and you might just be in the wall here. Out of the second Lesmo. Let's have a look then at the cars behind. It is Aika still, well, a little bit behind Dr. Boo with well, the damaged car. And Temke about a second behind Sarayan. Carefully go through the parabolica. Don't overdo it. Even though you're close, you want to put down that power, but it is so hard to do, and Sarayan has a bit more confidence on the power there. That is not the first time that we saw that happen. Meanwhile, out in front, Kovacs building his lead lap by lap. Now 4 seconds he has on Laszlo. And Oscar here in third place. Well, just 2 seconds behind Laszlo. Now we are about halfway through the race, and things are settling down, though we do see a fast lap from Oscar Pink. He is doing very well, and well, for a moment I was thinking he is improving, but I couldn't really tell. But well, there you have it, there's proof of it. And Temke closing in on Sarayan now for this very important corner here. What can he do? Can he close in on Sarayan? About 0.3 of a second between the guys, and has a lot of trouble slowing down, and in fact crashes into the wall. And well, Dr. Boop behind him is closing in quickly. And the other car we saw there, I think, was a back marker. So see the 2 drivers of Temke and Aika very close together. Temke was, of course, in front, had the speed in the car, and will want to recover from that little moment he has. Meanwhile, Oscar is driving very quickly again. So he is getting closer to Laszlo there. Previous lap he was 2 seconds behind, now he's almost within 1 second. And we have the two drivers of Temke and Aika very close together here into the Parabolica, trying to put the power down. Trying and trying, correcting and correcting, oversteering and oversteering. There we go. Onto the straight, and he goes for a pit stop. I'm not sure what he's going to do. I don't think you definitely need to change the tires, so that is quite interesting. Let's have a little look at that. Meanwhile, it looks like... Did he just stop there? I'm not sure, but... well, that was interesting. And Sito's there being a bit hesitant while Oscar is driving a fastest lap once again. The top three are closing in on each other right now. So that is something to keep an eye on. With now in the, well, 10 laps behind the 10 laps they've done. Keeping it in 4th gear so far, and then shifts to 5th gear right before he brakes is Oscar. Hesitant on the turn in, turns a little bit too much, power throttles a little bit too much. Finds it very hard to find the grip. So that means that Laszlo has well, a bit of a moment to breathe, but Laszlo is also gaining a bit on Kovacs. As we have 11 drivers left in this race, with about 19 minutes to go. And the gaps between 3rd and 4th and 6th and 7th are quite large, so well, I think it just tells you how difficult this car is. Even after 11 laps, the differences can be that big. As we have Oscar running wide, trying to keep it on track. Well, it's so hard to do, but they're all pushing, and of course he can smell that 2nd place. But he has to keep his head down, he has to be patient. Focus on your own laps. There's 18 minutes to go, everything can happen. Laszlo can make a mistake. That's what he should be thinking about. But he wants too much, maybe. Well, we'll see. Here we have the 3 drivers in one shot, and well, you can see that they've got pretty much all the lines. Although Oscar goes a bit wide and is again struggling to get on the throttle. And that is something we see happen, well, time and time again. The fight behind them, well, we have Sarayan and Dr. Boo lapping the car. No, right behind him. Who is that driver? That is Cortex. So he was lapping Cortex. And we have another spin there. It's Sarayan. Sarayan is also going to be overtaken there by Aika. So that was quite a, well, quite a heavy spin there, and lost him a lot of time. Meanwhile, in front, the cars of Gal and Pink, well, slowly closing in on Kovacs. Within a few laps, we might see some danger for Kovacs. And Oscar very close behind Gal. Little helicopter view there. Well, things have settled down, certainly, with about 15 minutes to go. So, it's mainly these three drivers in front that, well, can maybe do something for the lead. But it seems to be quite even at the moment. And Sarayan does not have a good time. He has, I think, spun again. So he's losing a lot of time there from Aika. And Dr. Boop and Aika, well, after that fight, seem to be doing pretty well. Dr. Boop in 4th place and Aika in 5th. And Ajera Kovacs does a fastest lap with 2:20.2. So, well, a minute ago I thought Gal and Pink would be a threat to him. Well, so far he responded to that. 3 drivers very close in the fastest lap times as well, all in the low 20s at the moment. So, we have a look at Gal with 20.3. And another 20.2 from Oscar, all in the last lap. Have they put down their fastest lap? Now look at all the bumps in the bank section there. You see, keeps correcting his car just slightly from one side to the other. And it seems that Laszlo Gal has the speed on Oscar at the moment. As we watch on board, which I must say is quite a nice sound. we see some purple sectors there. And Oscar might be setting a fast lap after all. And he is with 19.8. That's a very impressive lap. Also, Kovacs and Gal now on the same quickest lap, as Gal does a 20.271 as well as Kovacs did on his last lap, of course. Hitting the inside curb. Very much on the edge. And Oscar does seem to have the better speed there out of the second Lesmo. Now through what is now the Ascari chicane. Again. Well, Gal goes a bit wide. And Oscar, can he get a better run into the Parabolica? Can he do anything? Looks, and stays behind him. Maybe he can get a better run out of the corner. Of course, in the previous laps he was struggling with that. So can he do anything now? And that's the wrong perspective. And there we are. All top three drivers seem to keep improving on their times. And well, it is certainly shaping up to be a very close battle here for the in the final stages of the race. And we have Oscar slipstreaming from Gal. And it looks like he waits a bit until they're out of the bank section onto the straight. In the second banked corner. Oscar there a bit lower than Gal, and Gal tries to make use of that speed and uses slipstream, and then maybe he can fight back on the main straight. Can he do that? Tries to go for the inside, does he? And Oscar defends. Fastest lap out in front, Kovacs. So far it is Gal with the speed. Gal goes a bit wide. Oscar more on the inside. Can he use that momentum to get the place into the Lesmo corner, in the first Lesmo? Can he do anything? So he is a bit hesitant there in that tiny kink and goes wide, understeers a tiny little bit. Can he correct it? Well, it is last low with the better exit, and again it seems to be last low with the better exit. So out in front is Kovacs lapping some cars, or lapping one car, which I think is the car of Sir Rayan. And it is now Oscar again, 3/10 behind Gal. There's nothing between these two, and with only about, well, maybe 4 laps or so, maybe 3 or 4 laps to go, anything can still happen for the second place. And there was quite a bit of a moment there. She is again struggling. Well, I don't think in 1966 or whenever it was, there were blue flags, but header there does seem to be respectful to the leaders, at least. And Oscar has fallen back quite a little bit after the previous lap, by about a second, as Gal goes a second quicker on his last lap. and goes wide. He crashes into the barrier, in the yellow barrier in the first Lasmo. So, well, that's not too good. And while he could have done something maybe 1 or 2 laps ago, he is now struggling to keep up with them. If you make mistakes like that. And, well, it's of course very easy to make a mistake like that, but... that makes things a bit easier for Laszlo Gal. As he is now the one who has to lap a car. It's the car of Ada. After his mistake though, Oscar has made up some time, about half a second. And this is very reminiscent of the images in that movie. I think the movie is called Grand Prix. And for anyone who hasn't seen that, well, it's certainly worth it. Even now those images are really terrific. And you can of course see all these old circuits like Spa-Francorchamps and this Monza track. I think even Monaco is in there, of course. Mid-20s for the drivers in front. Oscar a bit slower on this lap. But he is pushing to get closer to the drivers in front. As you can see, 2 wheels on the grass, trying to make use of all of the track. And one driver goes wide, and I think it's the back marker of Ada. Now, this being a test stream, I have noticed, of course, the delta time not fitting in the box entirely. So that is something to be fixed. And, well, I would love to have a little look on board with Kovacs from the driver's perspective. It's not something you often see in racing, of course, but through the bank section, look at how fast he goes, almost 300 kilometers an hour, right next to these barriers. Well, it's not much of a barrier actually, it's more of a guardrail, so imagine hitting that and, well, flying off into the woods. Stays pretty much in the middle of the bank section, where it seems to be the most speed. And all flat out, of course, until you brake for the Grande Curva. My Italian pronunciation is not great, but basically it means, well, the big corner. And then brake down hard for the... well, don't brake down, just brake. Slow down for the first Lasmo. Don't go too wide, because you'll hit the barrier, and then the second Lasmo. Don't turn in too early, because you will hit the inside curve like he does. And, well, you'll have a nasty exit. But so far keeps it on track. corrects there. So he has a little moment when he turns in. Of course, these cars have no assists at all. Now, I'm not sure if any assists are enabled, but it seems to be that, well, actually it is really close, and they might have an extra lap to do for this race. So maybe it will be 18 laps, maybe it will be 19. It depends on when they cross the line, of course. "32 seconds to go. In the last corner, on the bank section. I think it's one more lap for Kovacs. So it's Kovacs out in front with Laszlo Gal behind him. Oscar Pink then in third place. And Dr. Boop is now in the bank section, quite far behind them in the red car. In fourth place. Aika, who has fallen back quite a bit from Dr. Boop, even though they were fighting so heavily in the first stages of this race. Is now 11 seconds in fifth place behind Dr. Boop. And Sarayan, who has had quite a couple of moments there, halfway through the race, is now into 6th place with quite a substantial gap as well. The Brew in 7th place. Then Thomas behind him in 8th place. Xethus is not too far off Thomas. Now I don't think he'll be able to do much in a space of one lap. Then Adder in 10th place. And 2 laps behind them in 11th place is Cortex. But in first place is Kovacs. But Gal, well, half a second behind him, or behind Kovacs right now. So he might fancy a bit of a look, and does so as Kovacs struggles to get out of the corner. Well, I think he expected to have a shorter race, and he did not fuel enough for this race. So, well, of course, that's the thing with timed races. If you're not sure, maybe bring an extra liter of fuel or something, so you can just make the finish line. So, question is, will he go out of the pits, or will he be overtaken by Dr. Boop? Although Dr. Boop is quite far behind. Well, Kovacs still in the pits. Meanwhile, with I think just one more corner to go is Laszlo Gal, so he is going pretty much to win the race. And he does. So in first place is Laszlo Gal coming over the finish line, and Oscar Pink seems to be a happy man. Coming into second place. Adder in well, it says third place, but I think he's a lap behind, so Dr. Boop will surely pass him when he finishes. So, well, that was quite something there for the race leader. Of course, leading all the way, and then not enough fuel. That's quite a shame there for Ajero. Dr. Boop finishes in third place. Aika Raju in fourth. And then Sarayan, well, in fourth place. Sorry, so Aika is now in third place, or I don't think that's correct. It is in fact Laszlo, of course, who's in front of those drivers. So, well, there you have it. A couple more people to finish the race, like the Brew, And my timing here is, well, messed up since they finished, so I find it hard to tell who won and who hasn't, as we have a bit of a glitch here. So that's that. I want to take a look at the, well, the final standings here with Laszlo Gal in front, Oscar Pink in second, Dr. Boop in third place. Well done there. So, thank you for watching, for those who did. And, well, that was the race from my side pretty much. I can leave you with these slow-mo videos. Of course, not exactly a classic Formula car or a Grand Prix car, but, well, thank you all for watching to this exciting race here from the ACRL organizers here at Monza. And, well, I think it's something that might be done more often, because it's quite spectacular, although this is of course a car that's very hard to drive. And well, you can certainly see that. As there were quite a lot of crashes and incidents throughout this whole race. But I'll leave it at that. I'll close my microphone, and thank you all. And I'll stop the stream in a few minutes. Bye bye.